so what we're going to go into now is the group's privacy policy. And with this one, I am going to go in and demo the product. So first of all, let me just walk you through what this type of policy would look like. So the first would be, okay, which groups should be available? So we're talking about Google Groups now, essentially distribution lists. And we're saying which of the groups that I have. So let's say I've got 200 employees at BetterCloud. We probably have, I don't know, 800 groups. And the question is, which should be set to anyone can view? And in our case, we would say everything can be, everything needs to be set internal, except for groups that have a name that includes the word external. If it has the word external, then it's okay for that to be, or if the email address includes the word external, then it's okay for that to be shared externally and set to anyone can view. Anything else should not be. So now what do? I go and investigate, and I figure out which groups are shared publicly and which are publicly visible. And I start reading through the list. I start drilling in, how many members do these have? I look at the names. I start to look at the owners of those groups. And then I say, you know what? It's time for me to notify all the group owners here. And I send them an email, and I send them an email very specific that says this particular group with this particular name, with this particular email address is shared, so that it is set in a way that anyone can view. Do you know that that means anyone on the internet can find this group? Are you okay with that? They come back. Usually what I'm going to hear, especially if my policy is it must have external in the name, is that some set of people will say, you know what? Sorry, I messed up. I meant to put external there. It is an external group. I bet the majority, and again, this is what we see, are set externally completely by mistake. That someone made a mistake, whether it be, it's usually the end user creating the group if you have that set up, or it could be the help desk. And then ultimately, I want to just enforce that. So let me take you through what that would look like in the well, first, let me take you through. So here is the alerts, which I'm going to go and demo this for you, but here's where you can define the policy. So this is saying if it's so in this case, we're using the value of support. So we say if a Google group is set to anyone can view, and the group is not support, then, I want to be notified. So this would be the details page. So these are all the people, all the groups that we have. You could see, okay, I can see customer success group, test, Montreal office. And these are all the groups that I have, Google groups. And this is when they were set this way, that were set to anyone can join or anyone can view, sorry. And then I would have the alert triggered. So this would now be a workflow that would say when that alert is triggered. So in this, I'm sorry, anyone can view. So when that alert of anyone can view is triggered, I want to send an email to the admin to say, hey, here's the Google group and it's set to anyone can view. We have to remediate this. Ultimately, we could remediate that in bulk if we wanted to. And then lastly, we would set up an enforcement policy that says when groups are set to anyone can view and it has those conditions, then I want to set the group to only people in the domain can view. So this would be going from, that was very fast, but that would be going from definition all the way through into enforcement. And like I said in the beginning, you could now check the box and say, I feel confident that we don't have any groups that are, maybe not any, but essentially we don't have any groups that are set anyone can view that should not be that way. Now, of course, a user could still come in and name it external when it's not. And of course, things could still slip through, but the majority would have been taken care of. And I promise you, I've literally, all I've been doing for the last 7 years until recently has been in the G Suite world and the Google Apps world. I guarantee you, you have a large portion of groups set to anyone can view that you do not want to be set like that. So let me jump into the product. So this is BetterCloud. We're going to go to the alerts section, and we're going to go to the manage alerts section specifically. Now, when I come in here, what I'm going to do is these are all the alerts that I can set up. So I'm going to go specifically to my G Suite alerts, and here is my system alert for groups that anyone can view. I'm going to come and say, I'm going to edit this one, and I want to add a condition. So now it's going to prompt me because I'm creating a new alert. I'm going to say groups that anyone can view, not external. Okay. So I'm going to create this now, and I'm going to say when a Google group that is set to anyone can view, and the email, let's say, contains external, and the, you know, and the name, contains external. Maybe we could just do it with the name. So if it's set to anyone can view and the name contains external, sorry, we're going to do does not contain. So if it set to anyone can view and the name does not contain external, then this is what's going to trigger my alert. And so I'm going to set the threshold to 0 because I don't want any groups to be shared externally. And I can now set it up. I can send a notification, an SMS, set up via webhook, set the severity. In my case, I'm going to definitely make that major. So now once I have this alert set up, you would come into workflows and you could create a workflow that is built off of that alert. So now that alert that we just created, that would actually be triggering our workflow here. So I would come here to Google, and I would say when a groups anyone can view. So this, let's say this was the alert that we just set up, and say if that gets triggered. So if I find any groups where anyone can view that does not have external in its name or in its email address, then I want to maybe I want to send an email to a user. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send to, IT at let me send to admin at demo BetterCloud, and maybe I want to CC the email, the group itself. So I could CC the group email itself. And then if I wanted to, ultimately, what I would do is I would set the group membership settings here. And I would say that from a view perspective, only people in the domain can view. So now, and here's our dynamic fields, which is pretty powerful, which I'll get to in a minute. But now I have this enforcement policy. It's set up, and it says anytime that alert is triggered, then I want to send the user an email that tells them, hey, this has happened. And I want to actually go ahead and change the group membership settings, and that's it. So this is a simple policy. It is I understand that it is simple, but it is very powerful.